Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenades from Pomku eliminate everybody on the field.
Now between something as well is going to be applied as a death blossom, and it's going to be huge, fighting three.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
For B-Well, look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the four-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
Regular season coverage. Tonight, we bring you yet another edition of El Clasico in the Discord tier, with the fifth meeting between two of the juggernauts of the past two seasons, where the winner of this match comes out on top in this intense rivalry. Will it be the reigning champions in Reminiscence, or the preseason champions in MI7? There's only one way to find out. My name is Bouncy, and I'm joined here by Karma on the cast, and THC on production, with Cry and Mr. Mountain Mango Mike on the observing. Karma, how are you doing on this fine Thursday evening?
Doing great. Finally back. Finally able to cast some games after a very long and unwanted hiatus for myself, doing some college stuff, everything like that. What better way to do it? MLB opening day was today. Get to cast some Tranquility matches. Get to cast a very big matchup between these two rivals, and I'm excited to get into it.
Absolutely. Same thing for me. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus due to college and also some illness, but I'm glad. I'm feeling good to catch a banger of a match between these two. The preseason rematch, the Season 9 championship rematch, all in one bundle between two teams that honestly have been stellar throughout their entire tenure in Tranquility, but have had a bit of a rivalry over the past 3 seasons. Again, the 5th time these two teams are playing up against each other since Season 9 started.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough one too. MI7 only dropping 2 maps in total throughout Season 10 so far. Reminiscent coming off of last week, going to map 5 and unfortunately losing versus Puking Dogs. It's going to be sort of their bounce back game, and might as well bounce back against a rival in MI7.
Absolutely. Of course, Reminiscence, they have a tendency to always lose their 3rd match of the season, so for all we know, that match that they played last week, giving an upset over to the Pukin Dogs, could very well have been their only loss of the season, but time will tell, as they have to go up against one of their old rivals, and they've already lost to MI7 earlier in the season in the preseason, in a 7-map banger for the preseason finals, where MI7 threw a curveball on the final map and took home the win, tying up the score to 2-2 between these two teams, but both teams have had different looks between both seasons, and now they're hoping to come into today looking for a good match win, especially with our first map being Antarctica once we get into things here.
Yeah, and Antarctica too, it favors a lot of brawl, which honestly I haven't been able to watch a lot of, but it's going to be interesting to see what these two teams come out of. As we saw today in the Overwatch League, we saw a lot of Pharah too, a lot of sort of Pharmacy coming out. Granted, it was EU teams, but it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams basically take over this new map, which in my opinion is sort of brawl centric, but you can come out on these weird different comps and try to take the other team off guard.
Absolutely. You definitely could come out on different compositions. Both of these teams are very prolific in the different types of compositions. Reminiscence have been shown to play the brawl, but they've also been shown to play a lot of dive compositions. Same thing can be said about MI7, and both teams have the power to be able to run these sort of different compositions, so we'll see which team comes out with the advantage here as we're heading into Antarctic Peninsula for our first map of the series here very shortly. It's going to be one heck of a match we're in between these two teams as we started off here with the view of the amazing penguins as we load into the first map of the game.
Yeah, and of course it's the Penguins. I always don't remember which one. And of course they're just beating it. They're just beating up. They don't care.
Someone call Pete on the line. We need him right now because this is just abuse coming out from the side of MI7. Look like they want to go for the brawl composition though, Karma.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see if they do stick with this Bastion. It's a lot of baiting to get out the turret form, but it looks like they might just switch over to the Mei. It's somewhat different comps. MI7 is going for that more pokey style of brawl, whereas Reminiscence is just going straight. We're gonna go to the Bastion. We're gonna try to outdamage you 24/7.
Absolutely. Starting off the battle here on Icebreaker with this ship in the middle where the point is located as the two teams make their way toward that middle. Reminiscence obviously having the Bastion, being able to pump out the damage when necessary, as now MI7 trying to make their way to the point. Very good wall coming out there from Tannic. He puts a lot of damage there on the B-Ball Man, but no kills resulted. As I say that, B-Ball Man falls, but Hayden also dies to Swifters here, so MI7 need to try to stabilize, and Lore there on that Hanzo already finding 2 crucial picks, giving MI7 the first cap at this point.
Yeah, Laura just easily just taking out those backline of support. Swifter's doing actually a really good job, but MI7 was able to bait out the turret form, and then just Swifter's was unable to really do anything. But they already have 50% to the Bastion ulti, which I think is going to be massive, especially on this point with the tight corridors.
Absolutely. Now the team's trying to set back up. MI7 did lose a few casualties, so now they're waiting for their team to run back as Reminiscence start making their way back in there on the left side of your screen. Sonic Air comes out from Loris, so now they know that they're pushing in here. It's going to be an interesting move here from Reminiscence. They obviously want to try to engage with this Bastion of Swifters, just try to melt down the shield and find an emergency pick. And looks like they're going to be already making their way to the point, but MI7 will meet them on the other side of the wall. Speaking of the wall, it comes out from Tannic, and so does the Amplification Matrix from Bunny. No kills results from either side, however. Swifters starts to drop very low as MI7 try to make the engage, and they're able to find the kill onto Swifters. So now MI7 have an opportunity to engage. Genji Main dropping a little bit low, but still, Reminiscence, they're down their main damage, and that Dragon Strike goes right through the middle of Rem and sends them back to the drawing board.
Yeah, Swifters just got split out right there from the Amplification Matrix on the side of Bunny, and now switching over to that Hanzo, trying to maybe get that sort of pick too. They do have the wall coming out from Noct, which is going to be sort of massive on this point, especially if you're able to split it enough. But it's going to be rough coming back, especially with MI7 having the mail, having that shatter, and even being closer to the beat than Coconut.
Absolutely. Reminiscence is now taking this left side approach. They want to go through this sheltered area. Noct has this wall online, so they're going to be using it right as they push in. Blizzard comes out from Tannic. B does freeze up the Symmetra, but it's the only casualty. Lore, however, does die to B-Ball Man, so it's an even fight here for both sides. Reminiscence still need to try to push forward and find picks that they need. Bunny now out of the picture means that they have a great opportunity to try and engage on this, but they have to touch that point before it hits 99%. Swifter's now able to eliminate Genji Main, and Tannic B is chasing down Swifter's trying to eliminate that Hanzo, but it's going to be Reminiscence taking the point for themselves in overtime.
Yeah, and Hayden actually did drop that beat 2, but only was able to get a few people, trying to turn it to themselves again. But now Reminiscence has the point and actually has that sort of better, I feel like that better percentage with getting Noct set up completely now with the Sim turrets.
Absolutely. So Reminiscence have a good stakehold here, especially with those turrets and also the ultimate bank. So we'll see what the move is there from MI7. Probably do not want to use a lot of ults here if you are the attacking team. They get booped off the high ground, looking like they want to try to take the low side now as Reminiscence beat them there, and the shatter from B-Ball Man lands onto 3. Bunny and Genji Main fall to the grave immediately, and that's another hold for Reminiscence.
Yeah, that was a great shatter too. Timed it perfectly, just dropping it down. They did have that Sonic there, but I don't even think Genji Main even realized that he was going to drop down and drop the shatter on him right there.
Absolutely great investment there from Reminiscence. Just one ult invested into that fight, and already halfway to reverse capping this point as MI7 trying to make their next approach here. They're close to getting up to this Dragon Strike from Laura, which has saved them in fights before as they take the far right side of the point. Going right to the point is a Dragon Strike from Swifters there to just separate, but doesn't do anything. Now the Implication Matrix from Bunny doing a lot of damage, and Swifters and B-Ball Man are now back in the grave. MI7 have an opportunity to push into this, but there's a lot of low health pools on their side, but now Noct out of the picture. That's all of the damage down here for the side of Reminiscence, as MI7 just going to stakehold themselves back onto this point, flip that point, trigger overtime as B-Ball Man tries to run back onto the Wrecking Ball. Swifter's able to get the touch here with that Tracer, but it's not going to be enough as MI7 are already looking like they're going to lock down this first point here once they deal with the stragglers of Reminiscence.
Yeah, and B-Ball Man looked like they were they're debating on what side it was, as, yeah, MI7 is just popping their ultimates and just getting everybody else. But yeah, B-Ball Man looked like he was sort of split on deciding to try to hold the main or holding that right-hand side. I feel like if he just decided on holding that right-hand side, once he realized, hey, they were going this way and they were able to use the dragons a little bit more effectively, I feel like that could have been a 99 reverse sweep for Reminiscence.
It definitely could have been a reverse sweep on that point there for Rem, but now they're going to be heading over to the labs and trying to make a comeback here. If they lose this point, then they'll be losing this first map in the series, and we already see B-Ball Man locking the Ramatra early here, Karma. We could, never mind, he switches back over to the Reinhardt. This is why you don't speak until the spawn doors open.
No, exactly. But I honestly, going back to that Ramatra comp, I think it's going to be really interesting to see, but we do see a mirror coming out, the Mei Hanzo for both DPS, the Bat Lucio. I think this is standard brawl. You just wall somebody off and try to delete them faster than you get deleted.
Absolutely, as the two teams start making their way out, MI7 on right in front of your screen, just making their way straight toward the center, trying to lead underneath the helm of Genji Main, making their way in. Reminiscence are also there, trying to take this high ground approach, take that high ground, make sure that the enemy team can't make advantage of it. And Swifters already finds the first crucial pick on Titanic B. No walls are going to be available here for MI7, and that might be crucial. Immortality Field has to be used here from Bunny, and Reminiscence already establishing a hold, even with just one pick. Make that two now as Bunny gets booped out by Coconut. Unsure if that was a final blow or a boop off. Regardless, first point to Reminiscence.
Yeah, and losing your mace too at the beginning is one of the biggest difficulties in Brawl, especially because you don't have that stability to either slow down the enemy team or try to get that extra pick off. Genji Main did die, so I don't know. Somebody else died. I don't know. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, there was one person that died on the side of Reminiscence. I believe Neptune did get picked off here. So MI7 gonna try to engage as fast as they can. Wall comes out early here from Nock to separate the 10 members, but Genji Main is still pushing forward and now Nock's out of the picture, courtesy of their former teammate Lore. Now Reminiscence trying to hold this off. A lot of damage done into B-Ball Man, but the Immortality Field is there from Bunny to keep the rest of the team alive. Lore gets the final blow onto the Reinhardt from Reminiscence, and now with Coconut on the picture, the point will flip to MI7's favor.
Yeah, you were able, especially since I believe it was Neptune that died fast. MI7 took that advantage. Was like, okay, hey, there's Bap's dead. Let's just go fast. And Genji Main just pressed on that aggressive. He just pressed on the gas and didn't let go.
Absolutely. So great awareness there from MI7 to know that Baptiste was dead. Know that Reminiscence were waiting for the Baptiste to come back, and were able to engage on it. So now MI7 in the driver's seat. It's all going to come down to the ultimate game here. These teams have to use their ultimates effectively if they want to get an advantage here. Neptune pops the Amplification Matrix, and Laura is already dead to B-Ball Man's Fire Strike. Again, that Fire Strike does 100 damage again, so one hit from the Amplification Matrix will kill. And now B-Ball Man right in front of Genji Man gets an assist thanks to the help of Noct. And now Reminiscence with that single Amplification Matrix get the point back in their favor.
Yeah, and I'm surprised too that Genji Main didn't just drop the Shatter when they were looking for Fire Strikes. You saw that window come down a bit early, and even with them waiting for that Fire Strike, it could have been a massive pick. But now MI7 has basically almost every single ultimate up other than Beat and Reminiscence, and it's going to be basically almost an even fight other than the Amplification Matrix on the side of Neptune.
Absolutely, so it's all going to come down once again to that old game. Here comes that Amplification Matrix from Bunny, able to eliminate Coconut with the Fire Strike. Noct, however, gets the headshot kill onto Tanic, so it's an even fight here. But Laura now evens up the score, eliminates that Mei here for the side of Reminiscence, and now MI7 trying to make their way back into the fight. Genji Mei will be the first to step, but Swifters finds the crucial kill on the Bunny. Now all that's left is Hayden here for those heals, and Genji Mei is all alone on an island. Now Hayden's out of the picture. Swifters finding the picks that they need. The Shatter comes out from B-Ball Man just for good measure, and Reminiscence looking strong to take the second point for their own.
Yeah, the only thing that is sort of on the bad side, though, MI7 still has that mail. They still have the Shatter, and now they're actually very close to that Beat. Whereas on the side of Reminiscence, they do have that Amplification Matrix back up from the side of Neptune, and they only have the Beat. So they only have both support outs to deal with their Mei and the Shatter coming out on the side of MI7.
MI7 make their way straight to the point. They don't want to take this high ground right now. They want to try to start the overtime ticker, which they will be able to. Blitzer comes out early here from Tanic B, freezes up B-Ball Man, but the charge isn't there from Genji Main to act upon it, so MI7 need to start getting themselves clean. The Shatter from Genji Main lands on the tube. Coconut and Noct sent back to the grave. B-Ball Man, the only person left on the point here for the side of Reminiscence, as MI7 start piling on top of him, and the point will flip once again in favor of MI7, but 99% for Reminiscence.
Yeah, oh, did Hayden Ajax? I think Hayden Ajax, but now they're coming back into the Application Matrix, which proved before that it was just able to take a fight by itself, so who knows if MI7 is able to hold on to this until they're able to get their Amplification Matrix of their own. And
the big thing is MI7 supports both died late in that fight, so Reminiscence is just going to push on knowing that Bunny and Hayden are running back from the spawn room. The Amplification Matrix comes out here from Neptune, and B-Ball Man's Fire Strike connects right onto Tanic B, courtesy of that double damage. Reminiscence now trying to push forward, find some more picks, try to find this point for their own. They're going to be able to flip it. Overtime is triggered as a Dragon Strike comes out from Swifter, separates the team and finds Bunny in a rough spot. Now Genjiman out of the picture. All that's left is Hayden. Tannic be running back here on the Somber, but it won't be fast enough. We're going to a third point on Antarctica.
Yeah, and losing your supports late, that's a killer in most comps. And Reminiscence was able to point it out, like we talked about with MI7, being able to point it out and step on that gas. Reminiscence realized, hey, Bunny and Hayden were both dead at the very end. They just stepped on it. They just didn't even try to fight for the high ground. They just went straight to the point and were able to take it with the amplification matrix again.
Yeah, it was exactly what we saw in MI7 the last time that they were pushing in when they were able to claim the point for themselves. They knew Neptune was down. They pushed in quickly as possible. They were able to claim the point for themselves. That's exactly what happened, and that's what Reminiscence were able to do. So both teams, knowing that awareness here, as we head over to sub-zero level, the final point here on Antarctica, and Reminiscence changing up the script here, Karma. We see the Ramatra this time, along with an Ana from Neptune and a Tracer on Noct.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I'm surprised we didn't see the mirror matchup on this map, because I feel like that high ground is much more amplified toward Brawl, but seeing the Ramatra and the Ana come out, it's going to be difficult for the side of MI7 to hold on to it with this Brawl.
Absolutely, that Ramatra allows for a lot of picking potential, and you can already see that potential here. The Anti-Nade also coming out, just putting a lot of damage into Genjiman and Bunny, but Laura is the one to hit the first strike, gets the kill onto his opponent in Swifters here, as now MI7 trying to charge right on top of this Ramatra of B-Ballman. No support left with that wall in the picture, and Genjiman is throwing everybody into the cooker with that fire strike. MI7, they're going to be getting the first point for themselves.
Yeah, and that was a really good anti-nade from the side of Neptune. They forced out the Lamp, they forced out the May Cryo, but they just weren't able to capitalize on it. Laura was able to take out Swifters right away, and Noct was just sort of poking from the backline, and they just couldn't collapse on it. And MI7 stayed strong. We realized, okay, hey, we're purpled. Let's just wait a second. They waited, and they were just able to collapse on B-Ball Man.
Definitely good awareness there from MI7. B-Ball Man's going to be able to step on the point first here, but that's what Reminiscence want. They want MI7 to start moving downward. Swifter's brought down to 1 health. Laura just unable to connect one more arrow into the face of the opposing Hanzo. Now is able to do it. Swifter's out of the picture here, as MI7 still trying to defend this point. Knocked out of the picture courtesy of an arrow to the head by Laura, and MI7 still looking strong holding this point here, Karma.
Yeah, and they have both the Hanzo ult and the amplification matrix up. I think Reminiscence is just sort of holding this. They're holding this comp very slowly, and I feel like especially with the Tracer Ram, you want to go a lot faster. And I don't think Noct is able to do it, especially since Laura is just sort of popping heads right now. But who knows? Maybe they can get a flank pulse right here. They're sort of in the back line.
Yeah, the main point of this composition is you want the enemy team to be scattered. Brawl wants to stick together. Reminiscence want to make sure they can, and obviously it's going to be difficult when Neptune's already out of the picture thanks to this amplification matrix from Bunny, and now B-Ball Man also out of the picture here. It's looking rougher and rougher here, but the Pulse Bomb does connect onto Hayden, eliminates the Lucio threat, but Lucio's not going to save this fight here for Reminiscence.
No, but it could also, if Reminiscence is fast here, since Hayden's coming back, they are close to that the Nemesis form, as well as the Nano, which could just delete them, especially since Hayden is sort of out of the picture right now, but never mind, he's back already.
You already see that the team is pushing forward. Laura unleashes that Dragon Strike. Swifters does the same. Neither find picks, just separating the enemy members. Now the rest of Reminiscence is trying to push forward. 93% on the point. Noct, I believe, is the one contesting. As here comes the Annihilation from B-Ballman, but they get burnt down by the Blizzard, and Hayden gets the final blow. Overtime now triggered, but Reminiscence have nothing in the tank. Neptune's Nano Boost it doesn't look like it's going to be used for anything. The only person they could use it on is Noct here on this Tracer, but Noct is currently dealing with a lot. Nano Boost goes on to Noct, able to eliminate Hayden, trying to keep themselves alive as they use that recall, but Laura finds the head with that Storm Arrow. MI7 just cleaning up the picks. Neptune finds Laura, but the rest of the team is stabilized. That Shatter is there from Genjiman to try and get rid of the health pool of B-Ballman, and MI7, strong start to this series. They are set right now to take the first match.
Yeah, it's just basically like, yeah, it's just going to be rough on the side of Reminiscence after that. I think they had a good idea, but they just executed it a little bit poorly. They were just a little bit too slow. With that Ram Cup, you want to go fast. You want to be able to do that because with the Blessing Shift and going to that Nemesis form, that block can take up a bunch of damage, and it seemed like they weren't able to fully convert that.
Absolutely, MI7 taking a good advantage, and this is the first time in the past 2 or 3 matches that MI7 has taken the first time that MI7 has taken the control map in a series since the last time in the regular season these two faced off, which was week 3 of stage 1 in season 9. So MI7 already off to a really good start, taking the first control map in this series. That's the first time they've done it since then. So now it's up to Reminiscence to try and decide what our next map is going to be here on the hybrid, because this could be a determiner for how the series is going to go. If Reminiscence can't play up to their map picks, it's going to be a very rough road for them for the rest of the series, Karma.
Yeah, and both these teams are undefeated on their hybrid map points, so it's going to be very interesting to see sort of what you have. But again, like we were talking about before, Antarctica, we saw a lot of brawl. So I want to maybe see if you go to maybe like a Winston dive, maybe it's a little bit different, especially with how strong MI7 looked on that brawl. They did look a little bit shaky, but even then, even on point 2, like they still held strong. They just had a little bit of a rough patch with some late picks, and Reminiscence was able to stay strong and basically persevere through that.
Absolutely. So the map pool, of course, for the next map, Kings Row, Hollywood, and Midtown. Of the maps there, Karma, which map does Reminiscence go for if they want to try to change up the style here and try to throw MI7 off guard?
Even though it's probably one of my least favorite, I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, but Hollywood is probably going to be their best map pick for it. I think it sort of favors that sort of monkey dive if they're really strong with it, or even Midtown. I feel like Midtown, even though it is Midtown, it can change up that sort of flow. So I think anything other than Kings Row. If you go Kings Row, I feel like it might be a perma lose, but that's just me thinking about it with Brawl.
I mean, definitely, Kings Row is always known as that brawl map, but other people have been able to run different strategies on Kings Row, so it's possible that we could be seeing Kings Row. We are, however, going to be swaps. We're going to be seeing swaps. That is a definite, as we do require players on each team to play 2 maps per match. Majestic is coming back in for Hayden on that main support role. Of course, Majestic and Hayden usually swap out the main support role throughout all of his series. Yet to hear if there are any swaps coming in on the Reminiscence side. They do have another tank player in the reserve, I know, so we'll see if they make any swaps here as we prepare for our second map of the series once we get word on what that map is from the side of Reminiscence.
Yeah, and I think going through all 3 of them, it's going to be very interesting to see. Oh, we're going to Kings.
Ooh, okay.
So remember, Reminiscence is going back to that brawl style map. I think they're sort of thinking like, okay, we had some good ideas. I think they're basically just going to try to throw that Ram comp out the window right now, especially with how bad it did 99-0. And I think they're like, okay, we hung with MI7 with the brawl. Let's just stick with our brawl. And who knows, maybe they have something interesting up their sleeves. I know before, like the AC-130 comp with Bash and Sim, especially since they did play that to start on first point on Antarctica, who knows if they bring that out here.
Absolutely. I mean, we definitely saw strong stuff for when Reminiscence was on that brawl composition, so we definitely could see them do that brawl composition here again, and we already see them in the spawn room right now on the attacking side on that brawl composition. Take note, producer, they need to be swapped sides, but regardless, MI7 on the defense, showing the exact same style we saw them on there on the control map with the Hanzo Mei composition here.
Yeah, and I think MI7 is just going to stick to it. They were like, okay, hey, it worked out. Let's just keep running it. It's probably the best comp in my opinion right now, but who knows what Reminiscence is actually going to go with. I think Noct is just going for a shot here. Oh, Mei.
Yeah, looks like they're going to be going for the Mei instead. They know that now that Hanzo of Lore is in play, and now Reminiscence are going to start walking out here with this Bastion Mei composition. Want to try to burn down the shields and get as much damage as possible in. This is exactly what we saw on Icebreaker for Antarctica, so we'll see. It works here in the favor of Reminiscence, but that Hanzo of Lore just coming on that off angle and already finding the head of Noct is not going to make things easy here for the side of Reminiscence. Genjimane is just able to play on this corner, have a very old nifty time, and just push in when the time is right. And Reminiscence, they can't do anything about it. They don't have the Mei to wall people off, and now they're down their giant mechanical robot. Now with MI7, they get the first fight win off of that.
Yeah, and especially losing Noct right away. I think you could have waited a second. You could have tried to rotate back and just wait for it since you do have the spawns right away. But Reminiscence was like, hey, you know what? Let's just go and let's try to win it with 4. But then they realized, hey, it's MI7 on the other side with Lore popping heads. It's not going to work out.
Yeah, Lore, the best hitscan winner last season, is considered one of the best members of MI7 as the past 2 seasons. He's the only returning member to MI7 this season, so definitely making his life worth it. Now Reminiscence make the long rotation. The Dragon Strike already committed from Lore. It's been a minute, my guy. How did you build that up so quickly? Now the Implication Matrix comes out from Neptune, but already picks are going in favor here for MI7. It is going even, however, not able to find 2. Swifters finds the kill on the Bunny, and Coconut now out of the picture. It's a back and forth affair, but right now it's Swifters and Noct versus Genjimane and Lore, and there are no healers left for MI7, but Lore clutches it out with the Storm Arrows. Are you kidding me? MI7 pull it through.
Yeah, Lore is just popping right now, but Reminiscence realize, hey, their entire team is dead. Let's just run in. They do have both the healers plus with Ryan. Maybe they can make something happen, especially with Evil Man having the shatter.
Absolutely. There's going to be a first hit given here for the side of Reminiscence, but that could have been much worse than it ended up being, so great job there from the team, but the shatter from B-Ball Man lands onto 3. No one killed from it, however. No follow-up coming out there. Now the charge goes on to Bunny, able to eliminate that Baptiste, and now the kills are all red in the kill feed. Reminiscence have found their way to break this foothold. All that's left is Lore, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get a 5K this time. MI7 have to give up that first point. Rem get the cart out of that garage.
Can I just say something? Lore used his second Dragon Strike right there. It's a second in 3 minutes.
Again, there's a reason Lore was the best hit scan winner last season. So safe to say that Hanzo is definitely coming in clutch here, but Reminiscence is just able to power through it as now they're going to be holding these close corners. But MI7 have an opportunity to try and re-engage here with the support ult here, Karma.
Yeah, they really do. I think they're going to try to use his amplification matrix on the side of Library, which I think could be massive, especially with the wall already out from the side of Noct.
Absolutely, MI7 making their way over to the bar, now having to back up all the way to the corner of the bar, almost making it to the library, excuse me. But now they got that wall coming out there from Tanny B. Laura finds the headshot once again onto Noct, and the amplification matrix and the beat are used from both sides. Neptune, the last support to pop their ult here in this fight, and is going to be popping it a little late to save B-Ball Man. And MI7, they're going to be able to take that point for themselves. They hold the card at 48 meters, right at that second corner.
Yeah, that was just... It was a very late amplification matrix from the side of Neptune. I don't know if they wanted to not use it, and they were just like, hey, I'm going to use it here, might as well. But MI7 is now... They're on probably the hardest point to break, which is Arches with Shatter, with Close to Freeze, and another Dragon Strike from the side of Lore.
My god, Laura building up these Dragon Strikes super fast is ridiculous, but you know what? If it works, it works, and right now that Hanzo is working into the favor here for MI7, but Reminiscence have to try to find their way through, and it's going to be difficult when Neptune already gets his head chopped clean, gets their head chopped clean off, and it just means a retreat here for Reminiscence. They just have to keep waiting for their opportunity to come.
Yeah, Lore is just popping off right now. They're like, hey, it's a rivalry match. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be, my name is going to be out there.
Roller wants to make it clear that this rivalry will end with him, and trying to make sure that that's the case. But now the wall comes out from Noct just to block off Lore. Definitely an interesting use for the wall as the Blizzard comes out. Genji Main is caught in it, and the Immortality Field is not there to save them. Dragon Strike comes out here from Lore, just separating the members of Reminiscence as they start pushing the card forward and finding more picks. Bunny now out of the picture means that Reminiscence are going to be able to have this card for themselves. Lore just jumping into the fray and sending himself back to the heavens.
I mean, hey, if you don't want your supports and you get spawn trapped and just shot by a Hanzo on high ground, might as well use a Mei ult. They did use the Mei freeze there to try to turn the fight, but they do have this Bastion and the Shatter coming out, which I think it could be almost fight changing on the side of Reminiscence.
Absolutely. Depends on how well they're able to use these ults as MI7 start making their way back into the fight. Here comes that configuration artillery from Swifters. It has to be big, but he gets frozen out of it before they're able to unleash more of those mortars. Shatter comes out from Genjime, gets blocked here by B-Ball Man, but the kills are all blue in the kill feed. Lore and Tanny B finding a pair of kills for their own as the amplification matrix from Neptune is nothing more than just a single window in the midst of a broken glass house.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too that the amplification matrix, or not the amplification, the lamp on the top on high ground was able to catch both Swifters and basically the entirety of Reminiscence and keep them alive. Unfortunately, Coconut wasn't able to use the beat there, which could have been a turning point. But it's going to be rough now, especially because MI7 only has a few ultimates that are going to be able to try to hold this.
Absolutely, MI7 trying to hold this point here, but already that big wall coming out there from Noct, and the Shatter is there from B-Ball Man. Only lands onto Genji Main, I believe, but the kill was there, and B-Ball Man finds a 2K charge kill. You don't see that every day, but Reminiscence gonna be able to profit off that team kill, and the second point will be theirs.
Yeah, now you have the Mei freeze coming out on Noct, and basically almost again nothing on the side of MI7. They do have Lore, which has another Dragon Strike and beat from both sides. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fight this sort of almost no ultimates right here in the neutral.
Absolutely, and now Reminiscence trying to push this card forward as they approach the second corner of the first corner of the second point. The Blizzard is there from Noct, and the Dragon Strike from Lore finds 3! Neptune, Coconut, Noct all hit the floor. Lore gets a 4th, looking for the ace, but Majestic steals it away. The team kill for MI7, and now 1.5 minutes for Reminiscence.
Did Coconut Ajax again? Because I don't think Reminiscence got beat there.
I'd have to look back on the video, but if that's the case, it's been 0 days without an Ajax. We have 2 Ajax and 2 maps. Starting to be worried about the rest of this match here, Karma.
Yeah, exactly. But Bunny does have this window, so it's going to be interesting to see how they hold this.
Yep, here comes the configuration artillery and the window come out. B-Ballman does get caught in Tannic B's Blizzard, however, and ends up falling. Neptune also dead to the hands of Lore once again. Lore once again popping off in the kill feed, finds another kill onto Swifters, and MI7 are trying to go for the touch spawn doors challenge as they start pushing forward. Coconut's locked out of their own spawn door, as now MI7 having to retreat here, but Reminiscence, now they have less than a minute on the clock.
Yeah, and Lore has another Dragon Strike. He's getting one a fight, basically. Yeah, MI7 is just proving, like, hey, Lore is just going to be popping off the entirety of the match, and Reminiscence has no ult to MI7's 3.
It's all going to come down to this final push here, but Tannic B already eliminates Knock, gets dropped super low, and that Dragon Strike from Lore is there to separate the remaining members. MI7 finding the picks one by one. It's going to be one last desperation here from Reminiscence, as less than 20 seconds are on the clock.
Yeah, and with having that Amplification Matrix and the Shatter there, it's going to be rough for Reminiscence to try to be able to get it.
Genjimane using that shield to look around the corners, waiting for that sneaky Shatter as the Amplification Matrix comes out here from Bunny. Ox is going to be able to touch here with the Tracer with the remainder of the team, but the Shatter lands on a B-Ball man. He falls immediately. MI7 already finding 2 crucial picks, and now Neptune is out of the picture. Make that knocked out of the picture as well. MI7 finding the picks that they need, and Reminiscence are all left in the dust. 20 meters taken on the second point, but that's all the cart will go for Reminiscence.
Yeah, that was Lore's just pounding right there. He couldn't miss. He couldn't do anything wrong. Getting that Dragon Strike, almost each fight he had won, it was just insane.
Insane is the best way to put it there, as now MI7 put themselves in a great position here to take the second map and go in a match point at the halftime against what is said to be one of the most formidable foes, Reminiscence. Again, these two are currently tied in the matchup. MI7 could take the lead in this matchup for the first time. It has always been Reminiscence leading, or it's been a tie, but now it could be MI7 taking the lead here in this matchup. Reminiscence have to try and come up with something here on this defense to try and get a better hold than MI7 gave them, and right now they're showing the exact same thing we saw them on the last attack. It doesn't look promising so far here, Karma.
No, it really doesn't, especially if they do stick with that Bastion. I think it's going to be nice to try to break the shield, but with the way that Lore is playing right now, I think it's just going to be wraps, it seems like.
Gotta love how Genjimane is up on the high ground with the Reinhardt. I don't know if they did that via the Maywall strat or if Genjimane did it himself, but, you know, I love a Reinhardt that can charge from the top ropes. Come on, Genjimane, I want you to charge from the top ropes. Do it.
He better.
Do it. Come on. You can do it. No balls.
I want him to. I'm gonna just pin up.
He's staying up there. He's staying up there. Is he gonna charge with the top ropes? Come on. I can't tell if he's charging or not. No, it doesn't look like he did.
I think he just walked out.
Yeah, it looks like he just walked out. Unfortunate. But still, you're going to be seeing the same comp here from MI7. They have the Hanzo, they have the Mei, they have the Reinhardt. Everything is in pitch-perfect shape. Already, Lore's out of the picture. Nox says, thank you for that was a great carry you had last map. I'm going to shut it down immediately. And Reminiscence already get the first hold here with 30 seconds.
Yeah, they did get that lamp out too, which is a very long cooldown on the side of MI7. So they're basically just sort of like, okay, we got a pick, we got lamp out. Let's just wait back. Hopefully we can get another one very soon.
Absolutely, and now MI7 making the rotation once again. They were very quick on the retreat. That's the only good thing here. Now they're going to be able to push back in fast and ready for it. Here comes that configuration tank here from the side of Swifters, just pumping in the damage. That little grenade just being able to stick onto Bunny, who is stuck in the statue. Able to get themselves out alive, though, and now MI7 make the push in, and Swifters falls to bits and pieces here. And Reminiscence is trying to equalize, but already Gleebo Man is stuck in a rough situation. Genjimane dropping a little bit low, though, and will end up falling to Neptune here, as Reminiscence still having an opportunity to stabilize here, but they have to deal with Lore, who's on that high ground and is pumping arrows into the team. First pick taken here from MI7. Now the window invested here from Neptune as Reminiscence try to stabilize, and they will be able to gain control temporarily, but MI7 are ready for the re-engage.
Yeah, they are, and Reminiscence is close to a lot of ultimates too, but I've got to look on the side of Tannic B's freeze, which it's been proven to be good so far, catching out B-Ball Man a lot, so who knows if he's able to do it again.
Absolutely, as now the two teams waiting once again for the next engage. MI7 waiting for Lore to come back. He did get picked off late in that fight, but already half of their time bank burned here on the first attack. But Lore finds a crucial pick on the knock. The Blizzard is up for Reminiscence. Now that's out of the picture for this fight. MI7 now making the engage in. Reminiscence coming through the backside, but the Dragon Strike is there. So is the Blizzard coming out from Tanic B. B-Ball Man stuck in it once again and will get charged to the wall by Genji Main as the rest of MI7 just cleaning up the picks. That first point is going to be theirs.
Yeah, and that was great. Lore just gets the opening pick. They did rotate around, and Lore thought they were just coming from main, but then they were able to turn it around from the side of Reminiscence, go into the main, try to flip the map, and Tanapi realized, hey, they're doing it. Let me just throw it on the freeze right here, get that easy fight win.
Absolutely. Now MI7 trying to hold forward here. The rest of the team are running back, but it looks like they want to try to take the position at that bar, but looks like they're going to have to settle for the library right now as that Reminiscence start pushing forward back in. It's all going to come down to the ult game again here, Karma, because both teams coming in with big ults this next fight.
Yeah, Swifters, I think if they engage with the Swifters Bastion ulti, it's going to be massive.
Amplification Matrix comes out here, and the Fire Strike lands onto Coconut, eliminates the Lucio immediately. Noct also gets picked out here from Laura, but it's already looking rough here for Reminiscence, and MI7 have found the advantage that they need. The Configuration Artillery is going to come out here from Swifters, but it's not going to do anything. It's just going to separate the members of MI7. Genji Main's left in a rut, but the healing is there for Bunny, and MI7 stabilize and keep that cart moving forward.
Yeah, they were able to use Swifter's ultimate fairly good there, even though it was late in the fight, just be able to split them and actually regain a lot of that sort of momentum that MI7 was trying to grow.
Now MI7 trying to regain that momentum. Here comes that Dragon Strike from Swifters. It once again eliminates Coconut. That Lucio's had a rough time. And the three-man shatter from Genji Main just cleans up the field. He has to sit back and watch, but the rest of his team there to engage. And that's going to be the second point taken here by MI7.
Yeah, MI7 is just putting on a clinic right now how to play this comp. It's just looking bad on the side of Reminiscence. They're sticking with this Bastion, but I think it's time to hang up the hat, it seems like.
It might be, as Swifters right now is just not have as much value in this fight, and that is clear because Laura's already found the kill on the Noct. Noct's been having a terrible time right now on this Mei, and now the point for MI7 is getting closer. He comes out here from Coconut, just trying to touch the point. Immortality Field and Amplification Matrix are there! And it's a C9 on King's Road to give MI7 match point in the series.
They could have touched too. They could have touched, but they were afraid of Laura's Hanzo. Again, just popping off completely. I want to see how they did this.
Well, that's how. Just a really good place Dragon in the middle of the Blizzard from the enemy team, and just was able to initiate the damage, but I don't know, Karma. It's looking a little rough for the reigning champions right now. Reminiscence could be facing, for the first time, I believe, since Season 6, a 2-loss regular season. So this could be very up in the air right now. MI7 showing a lot of dominance, and Reminiscence, it's going to be up to after halftime. They need to recuperate. They need to bring themselves back into this. But again, that's going to be after halftime. When we come back from our halftime, we'll see if Reminiscence are able to turn around this script and get themselves in the advantage, or if MI7 are going to be taking the advantage in this rivalry for the first time ever. We'll be seeing you right after the break.
It makes me
It's looking a little rough thus far for the reigning champions in Reminiscence as they currently face up against match point for MI7, the preseason champions, trying to take the lead in the legacy rivalry in this El Clasico. Bowsy joined here with Karma as we head into our next map. It's map number 3. Our escort map chosen by Reminiscence is Dorado, Karma. So what can we expect Reminiscence to run here?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like they're going to probably run a monkey comp. The brawl wasn't seeming to work too good. Last time they did play Dorado, they lost last week against Puke and Dog, so who knows what they're actually trying to do. I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough patch for Reminiscence. I think they're trying to throw in a curveball, especially with how strong MI7 was looking with the brawl, especially lower on that Hanzo.
Absolutely, and I mean, they could definitely be throwing in a curveball as they are subbing in Train for B-Ball Man coming into this next map. That is a tank switch up. We've seen a lot of Reinhardt from B-Ball Man. Also, we saw that Ramacha a little bit on Antarctic Peninsula, but now Train coming into the lineup. Much more of an off-tank player. We'll see if that shakes up what Reminiscence are willing to run here on Dorado, and if it's going to be able to turn the score here against MI7 and try to start that reverse sweep.
Yeah, and especially with Train being a flex tank, I think we could see a lot of D.Va too. Diva's been playing a lot of strong. We do see. Oh, they're on attack. They're just trolling, right?
It doesn't matter right now. Even MI7 are trolling. Genji Main's going back into spawn room after coming out on the Doomfist, going back to Winston. But MI7 running a sort of hybrid style with the Tracer and the Winston, but also the Ashe and the Mercy here. So going for a very different style coming out here, Karma.
Yeah, lore on that Ashe too, especially if Reminiscence do decide to run this sort of Junker Queen comp, getting that dynamite off on almost everybody, it seems like it could be massive, but it's going to be, we're going to just wait and see, it seems like.
Absolutely, as the gates are about to open, Train already locking in the D.Va, which is a pretty good counter to the Winston here, so we'll see if it works in favor as the doors open here for Reminiscence, and that dive style coming in full force, looking to try and get this reverse sweep started as they start pushing the carts to the streets of Dorado.
And also with D.Va too, it's going to be very interesting to see the sort of dynamic because D.Va has been taking over the Winston spot in Pro League, so it's sort of interesting to see it sort of trickle down into Tranquility.
Absolutely, is now MI7 just holding this red building here with Genji Main. Train is currently on the cart. Tanikby is also there on the side, but Noct has found their way into the backline. Already pressuring out Bunny there, forcing the swift step out of that Kariko, but Reminiscence still looking for a big pick, and they've already found a big one. Train finds the kill onto Majestic to start off. The Mercy now out of the picture. You're only relying on that Kariko for heals. Tanikby might fall as a result, but Laura gets the kill on the Noct right before he dies, so Reminiscence, they are getting this card forward, but they've already lost one of their Tracer players. That res is going to go on to Noct here to put Reminiscence back in full force, however.
Yeah, Laura's going to try to use the it just shuts down Bunny. But yeah, Genji Min is just going to sort of have to play a lot more passive, especially against this D.Va.
Absolutely. Laura, however, able to find the kill on the Noct once again with a headshot straight to that Tracer's dome. As MI7 try to hold the car here. Train goes once again back for the Ashe, but has to back up a little bit as the rest of the team looking for the advantage. But Coconut gets killed out by the dynamite coming out here from Laura, so already not a good start here for the side of Reminiscence as MI7 look like they're going to be able to keep this point for themselves with that exit kill on the Swifters.
Yeah, and that was sort of, like you said it perfectly, just an exit kill right there, but even with that, they have to regroup. They do have this Nano, which I could see going onto either Train or Swifters. That Nano Overclock is still very strong, but even Nano D.Va, it seems like it's getting even stronger now.
Absolutely. A lot of damage can be put onto that D.Va. The Winston doesn't have anything to prevent that damage and could be burnt down very easily. You can also try to force out Laura into a bad position and try to kill out that Ashe as fast as possible. But MI7 looking for the counter dive here as Genji Main starts diving in. Knocked in the backline, throws the Pulse Bomb right into Bunny. Actually gets the kill without the Pulse Bomb there as the Nano Boost goes on to Train. Pulse Bomb from Tanikby doesn't land on anything, but that Nano Boost from Neptune doesn't get a lot of value. Now Genji Main using the Primal Rage, trying to boop around some members and is able to get the kill on the Coconut thanks in help to Tanikby. MI7 still trying to get the hold here. His picks are not really going in favor of Reminiscence. They're staggered, but as I say that, Train eliminates Majestic and Laura. It's a back and forth affair here, Karma, but it looks like it might be an advantage for Reminiscence.
Yeah, it really does, but even then, MI7 does have 3 people up, and they just get 2 more. Using the rush just to clear house, and then staggering Train for the next fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Tanikby just holding out on that kill on the Train. Now Bunny's going to be able to get the headshot kill there. The res will come out here from Coconut, so Train will be able to get their mech back immediately here, but might have been a crucial ult that MI7 has used there to try and hold that cart.
Yeah, they do have the overclock Valve combo, which could be good for the side of Reminiscence, but who knows what they're actually going to be using here.
Valkyrie comes out here from Coconut to start off, as here comes the overclock from Swifters, trying to put a lot of damage in. Pulse Bomb from Tanuki doesn't land on anything, as Reminiscence are still looking for the advantage in this fight. They're trying to look for any sort of picks right now, as that cart is nearing the first point, but also the time egg is nearing 0. Reminiscence need to try to find some sort of pick. It has been a dry and neutral fight. Here comes the Diva Bomb coming out from Train. It has to be big. It will separate the members of MI7. The cart will move ever so slightly toward that first checkpoint, but still not capped. There's 30 seconds remain on the clock. Now Majestic out of the picture. Train able to eliminate the crucial Mercy pick here from the side of MI7, and Reminiscence are still trying to find more picks. Now with Laura out of the picture, it's looking like this point might be going in favor of Reminiscence, but as I say that, Train loses their mech. The overclock, the Pulse Bomb from Nox doesn't land on anybody. Now with Buddy and Gejime dying, this point has to be at Reminiscence's.
Hopefully. Panic B is getting more. There we go. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to talk before Panic B just went off. But yeah, that was actually a really good engage from the side of Reminiscence. Train was able to take out Majestic, get out that Mercy pocket from the side of Lore, and then just sort of poke Lore down. They were able to just sort of take advantage of it. Panic B has this pulse, which I'm looking forward on the side of looking forward to just sit on Neptune completely, especially since they have the nano. They have the nano ready.
Absolutely. So we'll see what the move is here from Panic B. Pulse Bomb comes out. It lands on that Coconut. It eliminates the Mercy. That's also a pretty good pick. Now the Mercy out of the picture means there's no more damage boost for that Ash that Noct has recently switched off to, and now Noct gets burnt down with the anti-nade and the Disruptor Field from Swifters. And from Lore, not Swifters, excuse me. The Reminiscence are going to have to hold back here, and MI7 going to be able to get a hold here by the second corner of the second point.
Yeah, but Reminiscence is actually at a really good point right here, taking that close right angle, so that way they could still hold the high ground. Even though Genji main does have the point, the Train walk onto it and just sort of poke him out and have him run away like he's doing right now.
Absolutely. The two teams meeting once again. Genji main going back up to the high ground. Lore is there on the high ground, having the damage boost from Majestic to try and get a lot more damage. Here comes that overclock coming out from Lore. Has to try to find something. Almost gets the pick on the Coconut. Actually does after missing the first shot. Now gets the second one on the Noct. Lore popping up in the kill feed once again. Panicky will take the third on the Neptune, and Lore finds the fourth on the Swifters. All that's left is Train. It looks like he's going to be staggered out of that mech, as Reminiscence now 1 minute on the clock. And already they need to try and restabilize quickly.
Yeah, Nox switched over to the Reaper now off the Ash. It basically took 2 fights, died twice, and was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm switching to the Reaper. And I think it could go really well, especially with Genji main still playing on the Winston comp, but it's going to get almost, I feel like it's going to get almost 0 repetition for it.
Absolutely. Reminiscence is currently waiting for Train to get back their mech. They're currently at 86%, just trying to use that Bunny Blaster to get any sort of fast progress here. The Swifters also has the overclock online, so we'll see how this goes into value here as the remech comes in from Train. Bomb is online as well if they want to try to separate the members of MI7 who are now dive back onto the card here. Here comes the Boss Bomb from Panic B, and Swifters slides right into Grandma. Eliminates both of those. Panic B finding 2 crucial picks. The bomb from Train doesn't do anything, but Genji main is out of the fight, so there is potential here as now Bunny stuck in a corner, gets to sleep on the Train, is trying to find more value here on this Ana. Nano Boost goes on to Genji main, trying to get more value as the overtime wick is starting to burn. Overclock comes out here from Swifters, who gets Nano Boost up by Neptune, who's back in the fight, trying to find a lot of value, trying to find a lot of picks, but has not been able to find anything thus far except a lot of damage on the Genji main that just gets healed up. Reminiscence will have this card for themselves, but right now MI7 looking like they're going to be able to hold it here.
Yeah, it looks like they're able to. They do have Nox Death Blossom up, but Coconut dies already, and it looks like Nox is just going to use it.
Absolutely, Blossom from Noct is able to land on the Majestic, and that was a beautiful sleep coming out from Neptune. Panic B falls after whiffing that Pulse Bomb, and Reminiscence somehow, they're able to break through the stronghold. Right now, it's only Train on the cart. Make that Train in Neptune now, as that card is going to be starting to make its way into Lumerica once Genji main is pushed off.
Yeah, that was very good on the side of Reminiscence, even though they were down 1 right away with Coconut falling. Noct was able to find 1, and they just kept on finding those picks and were able to turn the tides.
Absolutely, it has been very sloppy, but still Reminiscence able to make their way into Lumerico now, into the final point here of Dorado. Now they have to try and make their way all the way to the finish line in order to try and get themselves in a good position. Remember the last time they were on an escort map, they were only able to push the car 20 meters? Well, good news, they've already excelled past that here, but already Swifters out of the fight early thanks to that railgun shot from Lore. Might make it a little difficult here for the side of Reminiscence.
Yeah, and Genji main switches over to the Diva 2 to copy Train, and I think it's just going to be as both the copies lose.
Yeah, ouch. So, not a good start here for Reminiscence. The res did come out there from Coconut, but they ended up getting picked off immediately after, so right now it's going to come down to these final 30 seconds here for Reminiscence. They have to play the rest of this point perfectly in order to try and get a point cap here, Karma.
Yeah, and especially with the cart where it is, it's very difficult to be able to get to it and even push it even past that first corner.
It's all going to come down to this as Train start pushing in. Nano Boost is applied thanks to Neptune here. As Reminiscence start pushing that cart forward, 13 seconds remain on the clock. They will be able to trigger the overtime at this rate. Swifter's able to eliminate Majestic. That's a good start here. Here comes the Nano Boost onto Tanikby, trying to find anything, but ends up getting killed out by Grandma. Neptune finds that first pick onto finds the pick on a Tanikby, eliminates that Nano Boost at Tracer. And now overtime is starting as that cart rounds the final corner of Dorado. MI7 need to try to find some stability to stop this cart from moving.
Yeah, Lore does have this overclock, but are they good? Oh, okay, they do touch, luckily.
Yeah, they do touch. The bomb is there from Genji to try and separate the members, and Neptune gets picked out in a corner. Coconut's also dead to Tanikby, but Noct is in the back line, able to use those shotguns to eliminate Majestic, but Genji finds the kill onto them now. MI7 still being able to try and find the stabilization. All that's left is Train. They only have a mech, no self-destruct in hand, and that cart's going to be stopping 3 meters outside of the final cap. MI7, a win goal is in sight.
Yeah, and honestly, Reminiscence too, they played that very well. They played it sort of slow, sort of how it seems like how they wanted to play it, and then they were just able to collapse at the very end. Neptune had some very good anti-nades, even got some very good picks, and it's exciting to see Reminiscence sort of show a sign of life finally after the first 2 maps.
Definitely a good sign of life there from Reminiscence. Again, did look a little sloppy there, especially toward the latter half of those pushes, but they were still able to push it pretty dang far. We didn't expect them to make it to 82 meters, but here we are as now Reminiscence. They have to try and find a way to hold this cart away from that 82 meter mark in order to try and start a possible reverse sweep in this matchup and try to stop themselves from losing in this rivalry. Right now, we see Train on the Sigma, which is a great pick here for Dorado Karma.
It is, but honestly, if I can be truthful, I do not like the Brig Zen here. I like I like the Bap Zen personally, but the Coconut on the Brig, I don't know how well that's going to do, especially with having Train on the Sigma. I feel like there's going to be not enough healing for the side of Reminiscence, especially the way how MI7 has been playing with, especially with Bunny, if they do stay on the Ana.
Absolutely. We'll have to see how well Coconut's Brigitte is going to be able to hold up here. We know MI7 are looking for this dive composition. Tanikby is currently showing the Tracer. Genji main is currently showing the Winston. We'll see if Laura decides to stick with this Widowmaker. Going to be coming out of the top rooms, looking for that first initial pick, and we'll find it on the Swifters. The Cowboy says goodnight. It ain't high noon in this town. And MI7 already a good advantage to push this cart forward.
Yeah, that was just a great pick on the side of Lore, getting your main piece, your main damage piece of the core of the side of Reminiscence out. It's just gonna be, they almost get this first archway for free.
Yeah, now Laura knows where Noct is as well, so it's going to be difficult for that Tracer to try to find a lot of value here as the card starts moving here for MI7. It looks like it's about to hit the archway, and it is actually underneath the archway as I say that, so MI7 starting to try and push this card forward. Reminiscence are going to stop them right at the archway, but now they have to give up that high ground. What a rock coming out from Train. He's going to send Majestic back down to the heavens. Noct able to eliminate 2, thanks in part to the assists from the supports and the Sigma. And Reminiscence are going to be able to hold this cart right at that archway, which is very crucial here at Karma.
Yeah, this archway too, especially even though I personally don't like the support comp, but this archway could be death for MI7, especially trying the dive comp. You're gonna have to try to just dive on it without almost any information.
Now Reminiscence looking for the continuing hold here. Good rock from Train, just sending Genji off of the high ground, but it's all going to come down to the next play. Damage boosted Laura right on the cart right now. Train starting to focus down that Mercy, but Laura is now dead to the magnetic grenade, and Majestic will follow suit. Bunny also going to be falling as well, but now both supports are dead here for the side of Reminiscence. It could really be a back and forth affair as now nil healing for Train, Noct, and Swifters is going to be difficult to keep them alive, and Tanikby is on a rampage right now. Finds the kill on the Swifters as well. Currently in a Tracer duel with Noct as the recall is used. It's going to be a very close affair, but Noct is 1 health. Tanikby has the recall. This could be MI7 being able to push this card forward into point A, or at least very close to it.
Yeah, they're gonna get very close, and especially with Train having this flux, maybe they missed the flux.
You can't whip a flux like that in a crucial moment like that. Reminiscence having to try and stabilize now without that flux in place. Swifters able to eliminate Laura, but Noct falls to Tanic B, so it's an even trade here for both sides. Swifters has to try and show up, and now Coconut shield bashes Tanic B right back into next generation as Reminiscence are able to try and get this hold here. They find the kill on the Majestic. That magnetic grenade lands on the Bunny, and it's going to be a hold here for Reminiscence. 1.5 minutes left for MI7 on first point.
Yeah, MI7, they do have the Nano Winston or the Nano Sojourn close, about 30% off. Whereas on the side of Reminiscence, they have both support ults and the noon or the fancy reload, as people like to call it. It seems like it's almost MI7's point to lose, it seems like.
I use High Noon to get kills, you use High Noon to get a fancy reload. We are not the same person. As MI7 now trying to push their way in, they do have this nano boost going online and will land on a Genji Maid who's tops right on top of Swifters, who is just waiting for that Deadeye, trying to get the kill on the Genji Maid, just ominously standing there. However, in the meantime, Train is able to eliminate the mercy of Majestic, and Tanic B gets that Tracer win once again on a knock and lands the Pulse Bomb straight into Coconut. The rally now out of the picture, and the Transcendence from Neptune has to be forced out due to the Primal Rage and Genji Main. MI7 trying to find some stability, but now with Genji Main out of the picture, all that's left is Tanic B, and it's going to be difficult for them to stabilize here with 30 seconds left, but they're committing into this. Majestic pops the Valkyrie, and is going to be able to get the res here onto Genji Main, and Laura finds the kill on the Swifters. MI7 are still in this fight.
Yeah, and Laura finding one, Neptune finding Laura though, but it's just MI7. MI7 just had too many ultimates, and even though Reminiscence did use both support ults and almost every ult in the book, they just weren't able to hold on to it, and Tanic B is throwing out a clinic for Noct right now.
And I'm pretty sure that's the second time this match that Train has not had a successful flux, so that has been not ideal so far for the members of Reminiscence, as the first point will be capped here by MI7. They have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to get it to the doors of Lumerico, but now Reminiscence get this very crucial high ground here. It's very hard to get up here unless you're a Winston or a Tracer that can make their way fast to the backline, so we'll see if this plays in the advantage of Reminiscence.
Yeah, and honestly, this part too, with the side of Reminiscence, having the Brig Zen is going to be very good as Noct gets Lore.
Yeah, big stick from Noct onto Lore, already eliminating that Sojourn threat. Now Noct gets another one onto Majestic. They are starting to pop up when it matters. Make that a third for Noct in this fight, trying to go for the ace. All that's left is Bunny on this Kariko, as well as, I believe, Genji Main. Coconut's going to be stealing that ace away, but still Reminiscence hold right at that first corner.
Yeah, I think Noct heard me. Noct heard me talking about Tanic B just throwing in a clinic for him. He's like, okay, you know what? I got something for you. I got something for you right now. Gets the 3K, but it's going to be still rough from here as Loris takes the point and tries to move it forward.
We're going to be pushing this card here as Reminiscence start making their way back to the high ground. Noct is right now the only person contesting this cart for the side of Reminiscence, so they have to be cautious about that. MI7 have to realize that the Tracer is the only threat. And you can see, I believe Tanic B is actually making their way to the high ground. Pulse Bomb comes out, and it lands onto Noct. Noct in the wrong place, wrong time. That Pulse Bomb could have been a little bit more lethal, but it could have been a lot worse, as Reminiscence still trying to keep this cart contested. But right now, MI7 are pushing it toward the bridge.
Yeah, they're using the noon to try to drop it. I almost gets Genji main, but they do have the rush, and they're popping that now too.
Absolutely. Now MI7 starting to engage with that Kitsune rush. They've already found 3 kills, trying to get a 4th, and will be able to on the Coconut. And now that cart looks like it's going to be sailing into Lumerico here, Karma. It's looking risky for Reminiscence.
Yeah, Noct can maybe get this touch here, but they are getting poked out. They do get a touch, but they have to recall. It just looks like it's going to be 0.2 capped almost.
Yeah, Noct right now just trying to move around, find their way through, and they use the Pulse Bomb, but it doesn't come out in time. The ult is completely wasted. Now both support ults being layered here from Reminiscence. It's looking kind of messy here as the Primal Rage from Genji just knocks Neptune back into the spawn room. Swifters dies to Majestic here, and Train on this D.Va is trying to stall it out here, trying to burn down as much time as possible here for Reminiscence. Train might be able to get a D.Va bomb here. Nope, as I say that, Tanic B just cleaning up the remainder of the field. Laura eliminates Train, and the second point is MI7's.
Yeah, Reminiscence used both Neptunes, both Transcendence and Rally at the same time. Weren't able to cut it off. Coconut is just caught out, got the old spawn, and now they're finally switching it over back to an Ana, maybe Brig, maybe. Okay, Ana Brig now for the side of Reminiscence. So I think that's honestly a lot better in my opinion than the Brig Zen.
Now Swifter's also switching over to the Reaper here, no longer on that Tracer, I believe. Or Noct was on the Tracer. Swifters, I believe, is on the Cassidy. Now they've switched Noct out with the Cassidy, and RNA's working wonders. Finds the headshot kill on the Lure. Small spawn comes out from Tanny. Doesn't land on anything, but does separate the members as they are able to get the kill on the Noct and barely stay alive thanks to that magnetic grenade. Cassidy likes inheriting that pulse bomb. Tanny will die to Neptune here, but still MI7 trying to find their way in. It looks like they're just going to be doing a quick retreat and trying to set up for the next fight as they only have less than a minute left.
Yeah, Lore does have the overclock, and I think that's going to be their sort of fight win here. Bunny does have the rush too, but I think if Lore can get 1 or 2 with the overclock, it's going to be wraps.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting fight here. Majestic pops out the rally to start, but Genjimade is already dead to Noct, so not a good start here for the side of Reminiscence. They need to try and stabilize here. Train able to keep their mech as well, which could be crucial as Swifters has this Death Blossom online for necessary engagement. Here comes the overclock coming out from Lore, and the Kitsune Rush is also there, but the Death Blossom from Swifters eliminates Lore as they were using the overclock. That is crucial as now Reminiscence have nothing left, or sorry, not Reminiscence, MI7 have nothing left in the tank except for that Primal Rage. 5 seconds left. Genjimane gonna be able to try to touch that card and is gonna have to use that Primal Rage to keep it in overtime, and it's gonna be tough here for MI7. Now with Genjimane out of the picture, all that's left is the remaining members just staggering in. It looks like we have a chance of a reverse sweep starting here, Karma. Reminiscence look in clear gear to take this third map.
Yeah, they really do. Reminiscence played that to their best of their ability. They did have a little bit of wonky comp, but I doubted it. But guess what? It proved me wrong, and we're headed to a map 4-2-1 MI7. Reminiscence finally has life.
Reminiscence finally showing some life and gets their first map win of the series. Now it gets interesting here as Reminiscence having a very rough start, but now it looks like they're starting to wake up when it matters the most. They just now have to win 2 more maps. They have to win our push map, and they have to win our final control map in order to get this first sweep. MI7, their job is much easier. Win 1 map. So we'll have to see what the move is going to be here from MI7. It's also worth noting, that was the first time Reminiscence has won an escort map against MI7 since they won the championship. When they won on Dorado to take the championship in Season 9, since then, they have not won an escort map. MI7 won both of the ones in the preseason championship, so Reminiscence finally get their first escort map win against MI7 in Season 10. But now it's up to the push map here. What does MI7 choose here, Karma, for their push map?
Hopefully not New Queen's Creek, because last week they did end up losing that map. That's the one map, one of the 2 maps they ended up losing. So far, Reminiscence has been perfect on push, and I think they don't want to put New Queen's Creek on the table. I think it's going to be rough. I think anything that's sort of brawly, I think Colosseo is probably going to be their best bet, the best brawl map, in my opinion, out of any of the push maps. But who really knows? I think this is going to go back and forth, and I think maybe to a map 5.
It definitely could be going to a map 5 right now between both of these. Again, I mean, I've said it so many times before, but the last 2 matches between both of these teams went to a tie-breaking map number 7. So a tie-breaking map number 5, while not as intense, could very well be on the table, and it would make it so that every match I've casted between these 2 teams has gone to a tiebreaker map, which I'm very scared about. Please stop signing me up for Reminiscence versus MI7. I mean it. But nonetheless, it's going to come down to this. Obviously, we might be seeing some swaps coming out here from one or the other side to try and determine these final picks, but right now, it's desperation right now for Reminiscence. They need to try and keep winning these maps. MI7, they need to close it out, or else this could get very ugly very quickly for the preseason champions.
Yeah, it really could. And MI7, I think they might not be toying with their food, but it seemed like they were starting to get sort of almost battered around. Reminiscence was able to sort of catch them off guard with that Sigma comp, caught me off guard personally. And I think they were just sort of like, okay, how do we beat this? They ended up going with that dive, which I think could have worked. I think if they kept, who knows what actually could have happened as soon as they made the swaps, but it was just Reminiscence being like, okay, now it's our time. After halftime, we brought some life now.
Absolutely, and now we're going to see if MI7 are able to adapt. They're subbing back in Hayden for Majestic. Hayden, of course, was on that first map on main support. Majestic has played the last 2 maps, and now Hayden filling out his required next 2 maps. Reminiscence is expected they're going to be keeping in Train for this next map, so we'll see if that plays a factor into this next map, and we'll see if Reminiscence are going to be able to make this a reverse sweep. It'd be the first time, I believe, between both of these teams that we've seen a reverse sweep. So it would be one heck of a match for Reminiscence to try and take away, as we're still waiting for that map pick from the side of MI7. Next map, actually, I have been getting word, it is Coliseo for the next map. So MI7, you mentioned it, Karma, they want that brawl style.
Yeah, they do, and they just looked better on it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. MI7 looked like the better team on the brawl, and now they're like, okay, let's prove it again. You won your dive matchup. Oh, we'll give you that. You won your dive. Now let's go into my turf. It's going to brawl time. It's going to be interesting. Coliseo, I think, in my opinion, is one of the best looking push maps, and I don't just say that because I'm biased towards Italy sort of style and everything like that, but it's going to be interesting to see what Reminiscence come out on, especially if they do stick with that sort of dive style with Train.
Okay, so maybe the best looking, but is it the best playing?
Be honest. Fifth on that? It's a push map. Can I plead the fifth?
All right, fair enough. But we'll definitely see how Coliseo plays into both of these teams, and which team is going to be able to come out on top here on Coliseo, which is our fourth map of the series. It could be our final map, but it also could be the start of. It could also be the second to last map. As right now, no surprise with the compositions we see here on both sides, Karma.
No, not really. I was maybe expecting Train to play the Ramatra. It is the poor man's Reinhardt in some people's opinion. Cough, cough, Haiti. So, who knows? Swifters does play the Reaper here, so I think it could be interesting, but Lore back on the Hanzo. It's going to be popping heads. We just know it.
Absolutely, of course, Laura has been stellar on that Hanzo all this series. It's going to come down to this. If Laura can pop off when it matters the most to try and secure MI7 their third victory over Reminiscence, or if we're going to a pivotal map 5 control map to determine this series, as both teams meeting up in the center. Right now, Laura shooting nothing but shields, looking for the first head of the match. Reminiscence starting to push forward with that speed boost coming out from Coconut. Immortality Field has to be popped early here from the side of Reminiscence, but it gives MI7 an advantage here in that front, but right now both teams just looking for the first pick. It is Reminiscence in control of the bot. They have more opportunity here to be able to eliminate Train, however, but Genji Main falling extremely low will fall in the hands of the Reaper, as Reminiscence still pushing forward. Now Neptune gets the kill on the Laura, Nox eliminates Tanny B. It's a back and forth affair, but Reminiscence have the stability to push the bot forward.
Yeah, and especially with those close quarters, Swifter with the Reaper is going to be a lot more deadly with those close corners. But Panic B finds Neptune, and MI7 is back in the fight.
Absolutely, MI7 starting to push back into the fight here, with only one support left for Reminiscence, as now they're starting to push forward. What a blizzard coming out from Tanabe already! It's been 1 minute! Tanabe trying to put on their best lore impression right now, using their ult within the first minute, and it's going to give MI7 this spot.
Yeah, MI7 coming back, basically fighting that. Neptune dying super late was unfortunate for the side of Reminiscence, but they do already have 4 ults almost online, whereas MI7 only has almost have 3 with the full spoils and Lore's Dragon Strike.
So there is a potential here as the Amplification Matrix comes out early. Tanny already eliminates Swifters, and a beautiful read from Genji Main, seeing the shatter from Train a mile away, blocks it immediately, and Tanny has already found 3 in this fight, looking for 4, but Genji Main will take the rest of the 2 away. And MI7 now pushing that barricade much more farther toward the first bridge.
Yeah, in this bridge too, it's gonna be that corner is one of the toughest, in my opinion, to turn. And now with this bridge, since they're able to get that sort of high ground push, who knows if Reminiscence is even going to be able to contest before it gets to the point capture.
Absolutely, Reminiscence is looking to try and set up on top of the bridge. They're looking for to drop right on top, down to the bot. Here comes the Dragon Strike coming out from Lauren, already eliminates Nox, but Swifters from the back line eliminates 2. Bunny and Laura down to the ground, with Genji Main falling to the floor as well. It opens up the opportunity for Neptune to get the kill. Swifters and Neptune clean up the fight. It's a team kill for Reminiscence.
Yeah, they did have to end up using that beat there from Coconut, but even then, you still have Nox May ultimate, which could be massive, especially since Hayden used their beat drop too. So we're gonna see. I feel like we're gonna see double May ult here, and everybody's just gonna be frozen. Yeah, it's all going to come down to these May ultimates here. Genji Main also has the Shatter for Desperation here, so MI7 have a backup tool if they need to. Blizzard comes out early here from Tannipi, and Train is stuck in it, now dead. Laura's already found 2 already, 2 headshots onto Swifters and to Train. MI7 finding the kills that they need. They're going to be able to send that bot right back in the opposite direction. 24 meters taken here by Reminiscence. Yeah, just getting into that halfway point. Panic B just almost just popping off right now, and Lore proving again why he is almost going to be winning this match.
We'll see. MI7 now pushing that bot right back toward the bridge. Reminiscence looking like they want to set up once again on that bridge. It's worth noting that Nox still has their Blizzard online. They did not use it in response to Tanic Beast, so there is a potential here for Reminiscence to engage with that Blizzard. We'll see if they're able to use it to the best of their ability. Here comes that Blizzard coming out from Noct. Doesn't look like it froze anybody except Bunny, who's stuck in the Immortality field. Gets killed out by Swifter, but the Shatter is there from Genjimane, landing on a 3. No response coming out of there from the side of MI7, though, as Reminiscence are able to stabilize and find a lot more picks. And the amplification matrix from Neptune is nothing more than a cake topper on top of this massive, absolute destruction that Reminiscence are putting forward.
Yeah, and Lore there was trying to turn the fight there with the Dragon Strike, just ended up dying anyways. Coconut getting the last too. But yeah, Train actually did fairly good there, even though they did end up getting shattered, just sort of mirroring Genjimane, just trying to walk around and make sure he didn't hit the rest of his team, and they ended up winning that fight.
Absolutely. Now Reminiscence starting to push that bot once more, 20 meters away from taking the lead here. They want to try to take this early advance on the stairs, but Tanic has the Blizzard right there. Train is frozen up. The beat from Coconut lands. It's not Ajax this time, and Train is able to stay alive. A Shatter lands on the floor as well. That's massive. No follow-up, however. Nobody is there to try and follow up on the kills, and now Train falls to Lure. He's able to find 2 in this fight, and the rest of MI7 finding the kills even after that massive Shatter from Train. What a comeback.
Yeah, you know, Train is sort of disappointed. They're getting 3 on the ground, just no follow-up. But on the side of MI7, they did use that amplification matrix, but Genjimane has the Shatter, and he's proven before he can drop some big shatters.
Definitely can. However, Swifters, we saw that Death Blossom earlier turn the fight. They have it once again and knocked this close to the Blizzard here as well. So we could see a response coming out here for Reminiscence. Very good wall coming out here from Noct, but Lore sends Swifters right back to hell once he came. But Train able to get the trail kill to Taniby and lands another Shatter onto 3. But MI7 are still fighting the picks. Train has not been able to get anything done with these Shatters.
Oh, that's Genjimane Shatter though.
Oh, it might have been. I might have gotten confused. I apologize, Train.
Hey,
I'm tired.
it is very late, but yeah, Train's doing good. Maybe he can get another one of his own. They do able to get the touch before they early spawn.
That's pivotal, yeah, definitely.
I don't think MI7 realized that either.
Yeah, I think MI7 were down a lot of players. Now you can see them just retreating, trying to get back to the neutral to stop that bot before it keeps going, but yeah, MI7 not able to get that checkpoint. That could be pivotal here, as Reminiscence might be able to get a hold here as it stands. Here comes the Dragon Strike from Lore right into that small area, but the Blizzard is out from Noct, and it lands right onto Genjimane, who gets charged into a wall by Train. Lore, however, finds the headshot on the Swifters as he uses the Death Blossom, so that Reaper not able to feast any sort of lives for the Underworld. But now Train starting to push forward, gets the Fire Strike kill into Hayden, and now Reminiscence starting to push that bot once again into their favor. They have to push into 66 meters, however, to get that first checkpoint unlocked.
Yeah, they do, but Neptune does have this amplification matrix. Train going very aggressive. Oh, we get walled off.
Oh, this could be pivotal. This could be a good chance, but MI7 aren't able to react on it on time. That could be pivotal, Karma. Not being able to react on that sort of quick kill on the Train.
Yeah, both teams drop the amplification matrix. Tanic looks for this flank A. Oh, he gets one.
Yeah, able to get Train as well. So now, Tanic be able to find that pivotal pick. Genjimane now the only main tank standing, and MI7 able to stabilize here. Tanic B does die, but Genjimane has a giant small room with an amazing has a small room with a massive hammer. You know the Reinhardt's gonna win that fight, and the bot's going right back in the favor of MI7.
Yeah, Nox switching over to the Cassidy now too to try to get those. Try to get the closing picks, especially with Lore getting that sort of extra range now. Now Train can't be as aggressive as it seems like he wants to be.
Absolutely. We'll have to see how Train is able to adapt with this Cassidy online. Reminiscence making their way back into the bot. They have the control in their favor, trying to find their way in. Both Reinhardts with the Shatter. The wall already baited out from Taniby, and Lore finds the headshot once again on the Swifters. It's a 3-man Shatter coming out from Genjimane, but Train answers back with the Shatter directly onto Genjimane. But Lore is finding the picks once again. That's 3 for Lore in this fight, and Taniby punches Train back into the spawn room. That first checkpoint is MI7's.
Yeah, Lore finding almost everybody on the side of Reminiscence, even with Genjimane Shatter. Getting another Dragon Strike, which even then now it's going to be good. And here comes the Ramatra that I was talking about from the side of Train.
The Ramatra in play here. Train now going to be sticking onto this Ramatra, trying to stop this brawl comp that we see MI7 running here. Here comes the Dragon Strike from Lore right into that small corridor, trying to separate the members, and it does exactly that. Hayden gets the kill onto Noct early here, and already you see that the members of MI7 are feasting on Reminiscence right now. It's looking rougher and rougher for Reminiscence right now, as the picks are all blue in the kill feed with less than 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it just looks like it's Reminiscence just sort of crumbling at the last second. Bunny has this amplification matrix. Tannic B has the freeze. It's going to be rough setting here from the side of Reminiscence.
Definitely will. It's going to come down to Neptune's amplification matrix and maybe Nox Deadeye here for Reminiscence. That's not really good reliance there, but the amplification matrix come out from both sides as Reminiscence is trying to make their form, but Nox already dead to the fire strike from Genji Main. Reminiscence are just falling apart one by one, it seems like. Swifters tries to go in for a late kill, has to use the immortality field, has to be used. The blizzard comes out from Tanny B, the shatter from Genji Main as well, and it's once again all blue in the kill feed. 1 minute left, and Reminiscence, they're not looking pretty.
No, they have to win so many fights to try to be able to win this, whereas it looks like MI7 is trying to go for that full cap, which is very difficult to do, especially on Colosseo.
Definitely is. As 40 seconds remain here, Reminiscence have to push forward. They have ultimates in their favor. Both DPS ults and the Annihilation are coming up online, so it's all going to come down to these ults. Here comes that Deadeye from Nox, just sprays the field, but isn't able to get any kills, and the bot is now in favor of Reminiscence. Tannic B out of the picture already, so a good start coming out here, but Genji Main charges Swifters straight into a wall, and Laura finds Nox. Now there's no DPS left here for Reminiscence. All that's left is Train on this Ramatra, as the bot is still in favor of Reminiscence, but they still have to push it a long way to reset the checkpoints.
Yeah, and I think MI7 is just running away, realizing they lost Genji Main and they lost 1 DPS. Might as well fight it with 5. Might as well fight it with 5 completely in midpoint, especially since they still have those early spawns.
It's all going to come down to overtime. Overtime now triggered here for Reminiscence. They have to try and push the spot as much as they can. They have to push it 127 meters to keep their season alive right now. Annihilation used here from Train as the Dragon Strike from Lord just separates the remaining members. Train trying to look for anybody, but that Annihilation is going to burn down, but now finds the kill on a Bunny thanks to help of Nox. Lore also out in the picture here as well as Reminiscence start pushing that card forward, and now the rest of MI7 falling. Now a chance is open for Reminiscence.
Yeah, it really has. Neptune did use that amplification matrix a little bit late when everybody was dead, so they only really have the beat drop and the Death Blossom on the side as Reminiscence, whereas MI7, they do have that amplification matrix of their own, plus close to another Maze Freeze and another Shatter.
Swifters looking for the cheeky Death Blossom, waiting for the perfect opportunity to try and get this point into the favor as the checkpoint is unlocked. Here comes Swifters from the backline. The Blizzard unleashed by Tanny B, but the Death Blossom comes out. It is able to find anything. Bunny dies in the aftermath, but Genji Main and Bunny have already found Neptune and Swifters. Hayden now out of the fight, however. Genji Main lays the shadow on a Train, and Reminiscence are still trying to stay on this card. All that's left is Coconut on that Lucio. Genji Main drops extremely low. Lauren trying to keep it alive as well. Coconut needs to try and stay alive on this Lucio, but it's going to be all for naught as MI7 take the lead in the rivalry. They defeat Reminiscence 3-1.
Yeah, Coconut was trying to play their life, trying to keep himself up, but in the end just couldn't do it. Genji Main had the big hammer. Lore, I think did he get every single play of the game
I believe so. He might have missed 1 or 2, but yeah, it's safe to say Lore is
not
probably
another Ajax.
Oh god. Oh no. You hate to see it, but there you go. MI7 give Reminiscence their second loss of a regular season since Season 6. What a matchup we saw here, and MI7 now take the lead in the rivalry between them and Reminiscence, now leading 3-2, getting that 5-0 heading into stage number 2, which starts in a week, or at least not next week, but a week after. But now with the dust settled and MI7 taking the lead in this rivalry, Karma, I have to ask you, who is your player of the match from the side of from the side of MI7?
Do you even need to ask me?
I don't think I need to.
No,
yeah.
It's Lore, hands down, popping off. I think we talked about him probably 95% of this match.
Right.
Which,
yeah.
I think the only one he really didn't do much was Arctic Peninsula, which even then he still did a really good. But it has to be Lore on the side of MI7.
Yeah, there is no doubt at all that Lore is probably one of the best players in Discord tier right now, and if you have to face off against Lore, you're going to be shivering in your boots for a long time. So Lore definitely is probably the best player of the match, but I'm going to give a huge shout out to all the members from MI7, Genji Main especially, who did a really good job on that main tank role throughout the entire time. Had a little bit of a struggle there on Dorado, but whenever he was on that Reinhardt, he looked to be extremely strong. And you got to give it up to all the other players on the side of MI7, as well as all the players on Reminiscence, who did a really good job trying to contest that powerhouse that was Lore. But at the end of the day, it's MI7 taking home the victory, and Reminiscence left with a 3-2 stage number 1. But that is it for us here today. Of course, there's a lot of Tranquility action happening this next week, as it is our event week. We're raising money once again for Rise Above the Disorder. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the events happening this next week. Saturday is our Apex Pugs. Sunday is our underrepresented minority Pugs. Monday is the TXCXX 1v1 tournament. Tuesday is 3v3 elimination. I'm trying to remember every sort of event on the top of my head. 3v3 elimination on Tuesday. Widowmaker 1v1s on Wednesday. The Brawl Night on Thursday, which includes Ana Paintball, Orisa Jousting, and Gun Game. And of course, we round up the entire week with the Staff Admin Pugs on Friday. It's going to be one heck of a fun week to raise money for a good cause, Karma, and I'm excited to see all of it next week.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too, especially those Apex. Can't play it all that much, but man, is it fun to watch.
Absolutely, it'll be one heck of a fun week to watch, but that is going to do it for us here today. A special shout out to our producer THC and our observers Cry and Mr. Mountain Mike, who helped us with all those observing angles that you saw throughout the entire match. But that's going to do it for us today. Or for my wonderful co-caster Karma, who I had the honor of casting with, and for the entirety of the Tranquility community, my name has been Balzy. Until we meet again, we hope you have an amazing night.